Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Izzy Cinematic Escape on YouTube. Today's review is based off the much anticipated film Wonder Woman 1984. Before I get into the nitty-gritty details of this review, I want to go ahead and state that I'm very well aware of the mixed reception that this film has been receiving. One friend of mine stated that she thought it was awful. Another friend of mine thought that the film was just meh, wasn't anything to write home about, and wasn't anything that you needed to rush to see. This review is spoiler free, and this is just going to be my honest assessment of how I felt about the film. Wonder Woman 1984 takes place in the obvious 1984 year spectrum, and it involves Gal Gadot, who's reprising her role as Diana Prince / Wonder Woman. You have Chris Pine, who's reprising his role as Steve Trevor, the love interest. Kristen Wiig playing Barbara Minerva / Cheetah. Then you have Pedro Pascal, who's playing Maxwell Lord. The film storyline is basically how Diana Prince and Kristen Wiig come into contact with this mysterious stone that grants the user any wish they could possibly imagine. No matter how far-fetched it may be, the wish comes true. Then you have Maxwell Lord, who comes into the picture and uses the stone for the same purpose. However, there's a nefarious, sinister motivation between his particular uses of this stone, and it creates a lot of global catastrophe of consequences that is of apocalyptic biblical proportions, if you will. Through it all, when it comes to Wonder Woman 1984, I did appreciate, one thing I really did enjoy about it was the fact that it was more story-based. It's a lot more character-oriented compared to the first film. Now, anyone who knows me and has watched my reviews or read my reviews on Facebook knows that I'm always the type of individual that when it comes to film, literature, anime, video games, or what have you, I find more enjoyment into the character-oriented storylines. I love being able to emotionally invest into a specific character, a time frame, without having to feel as if that I'm forced to care about the character. As long as the characters are written well and is acted properly and the emotion is sincere and raw, I'm game. I love character detailed storylines, and that's what Wonder Woman 1984 is. And let me just go ahead and say, it's not a lot of action in the film. There really is not a lot of action. It's not action-based. It's all primarily storyline centered. I really did enjoy the acting moments between Gal Gadot and Chris Pine. The obvious chemistry that they have with one another is absolutely magnetic. You could tell that they enjoy each other's presence and how their work just seemingly flows so easily from within them that the moments never feel forced. It never feels as if that you're watching two two performers who aren't capable of carrying those specific scenes. I mean, their presence just commands the screen and commands your attention, and it's just very special, unique, charming, heartwarming, and very emotional at the same time. Kristen Wiig as Barbara Minerva Cheetah was very charming and amusing. I really did enjoy her performance. I would love to have seen more of her. Just when she comes on the screen as Cheetah, when she's showcasing her powers, is just a wonderful moment. And it surprised me because I had no idea that Kristen Wiig could act like that. She has this ability to be seductive and charming and yet menacing at the same time. And when she goes into the menacing route, it's absolutely mesmerizing. I thought she did an amazing job. I would love to have seen more of her. Pedro Pascal and Maxwell Lord. Before I get into his performance, there's a lot of people who have stated that they believe his character depiction of you, if you will, is a very prominent political figure that everybody's familiar with right now, given what's going on. And I'm going to go ahead and say that his performance isn't so much a throwback or a tribute to him specifically. It's more about the billionaires of the 80s who had this larger-than-life personality, and they were colorful, they were zany, they were loud, they were abrasive, they were charming, they just had this very con man-ish mentality that just captivated viewers. So it's more along the lines of a tribute of a conglomeration of those billionaires that were very prominent in the 80s. So, but his performance as Maxwell Lord, I thought, was very, very wonderful, and he did an amazing job at capturing that specific mindset of that billionaire who is very out of touch and has his passion and wants to do what he feels is right, and he's using it for his own particular motivations, and that's what makes the character so special as well. His performance is just, I thought, was great. I thought he captured the character immensely well. The only thing that I will say that I felt that Wonder Woman 1984 was lacking in was the fact that there was a lot going on, and perhaps maybe that's why a lot of people didn't necessarily have this maybe that's why a lot of people didn't particularly care for it, was because there was a lot going on. It was just a lot to the point to where it wasn't focused on one particular theme. And given that this film has experienced so many delays in the process, that the anticipation for it, I do believe, found itself to the point to where people lost interest in it. Had this film been released for its original release date, I believe the reception would have been far better, and the overall acceptance would have been seemingly much more appreciated, I believe. Because Wonder Woman, when the first film came out, and given that it was such a huge success, Wonder Woman, while still a hot commodity, I feel there was enough attention and fanfare where if they just released it in its original release date, it most likely probably would have grossed $1 billion easy, just because of the fact that it has, I do believe it has everything that you could want as far as true escapism is concerned. I thought Patty Jenkins really did an amazing job in terms of capturing all the different elements and the atmosphere of the 80s. Given that I'm an 80s baby myself, this film really captured the colorful, zany imagery, the fashion, the music, and the cars, and just everything about it was just very fun and exciting and charming. But another thing that I felt that I do have a gripe with, if it were me, if I was a director / screenwriter, I would have switched the films, if this makes any sense. So let me go ahead and explain what I mean. Cheetah should have had her own film. And that, I do believe she should have been the central villain for a second film, because Kristen Wiig was charismatic and menacing enough to where I do believe she could have carried the film by herself, even with Gal Gadot. Given everything that was going on with the film from the global catastrophe standpoint, it would have made more sense to have this storyline with Maxwell Lord as a third film, because everything that was going on within this cinematic spectrum seemed to me as if it would have fit better for a third film, for a finale, rather than a second film. But that's neither here nor there right now. But overall, I have to say Wonder Woman 1984 was a very much surprise, was a huge surprise for me. I really did enjoy it. I didn't go in with unrealistic high expectations. I knew that at some point, given everything that's going on, that people created this unrealistic anticipation, expectation of what they were expecting to witness with this film. And I knew it wasn't going to be anything that was going to change the world. I knew it wasn't going to be anything that was going to change cinema. I just feel that at times people expect too much, if that makes any sense. And while they are entitled to their own opinion, my opinion is the criticisms and the harsh reviews that it has received has been, I do believe it's been quite unjustified. I don't see it as being as awful or as horrible as people have made it out to be. Could it have been better? Sure. Given the amount of delays that it's experienced, it could have definitely been better. But it's in no way, shape, or form, from my perspective, is it an awful film. I thought it was very, very charming, very emotional. There is a particular moment in the film where it did move me to tears, and the acting between Chris Pine and Gal Gadot was just mesmerizing. That scene, and you'll know what I'm talking about when you watch the scene. It just really captures your heart and your soul, and it's very powerful. And as I mentioned, you'll know it when you see it. Gal Gadot, I thought she did an amazing job as Wonder Woman and Diana Prince. She really captures the whole innocence and triumphant and honest and powerful character that Diana Prince is supposed to represent. The whole honor, truth, and loyalty, and just doing everything by doing and just treating humanity the way that you would expect that one would want to be treated. She is the heroine that people should aspire to be. And there's a lot of important lessons within this film too. I really did enjoy the overall concept of how no heroes are born from lies, and that no matter what, even though there are sacrifices to be made, no matter what, you never give up. And that's what I really enjoyed about the film. I love the overall perspective of having that moment when it just paints those particular life lessons that we have all experienced at some point. Needless to say, Wonder Woman 1984, my final score, I have to give it about a 3 out of 5, 8 out of 10. I do give it a 2 thumbs up. It's definitely a different film, and it does get dark there's a lot of heavy hitting emotional moments in the film, and it does get pretty dark towards the end of the film. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say it's not it's not an easy story to sit through, if you will. And given that there's not much action, I could see where maybe people would find themselves getting bored with it. But through it all, it's not anything that I found myself getting bored with. It's not anything that I felt that I wasted my time with. It's very enjoyable, very charming, very emotional, colorful, triumphant, and just an overall great experience with wonderful escapism. That is my review of Wonder Woman, so I'm going to go ahead and say 3 out of 5, 8 out of 10, 2 thumbs up. I do recommend it. Please, if you get a chance to watch it or you have watched it, let me know in the comment section what you thought about it. I am looking forward to hearing from your thoughts and let me know what you think. Let me know on the Facebook page what you thought about it, and provide a like if you want to. That is my review of Wonder Woman 1984. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, and one more thing. This film is very much a standalone storyline. So it's not... Warner Brothers DC have pretty much all but confirmed that they're moving away from the DCU cinematic storylines where it's all taking place within this same universe. It is in the same universe, but they're moving away from the DCU shared universe. So if you're expecting anything that is going to be... if you're expecting anything that's going to expand the world, then yeah, you will be disappointed. And there's also a lot of cool references between to the original Wonder Woman, as well as other cool references from the comic books and the animated series and Super Friends. And so anyone who's a Wonder Woman fan who has followed her from the original series to the comic books to Super Friends to Justice League and etc., you will enjoy this film. And I do believe anyone who isn't a fan of the character will enjoy this film as well. But again, that's my review, and you'll be hearing from me again. Take care and peace out.